Hello and welcome. I am Guillermo Vidal, your host for our program today on Aging Fearlessly. I hope that the material I present every week gives you good ideas on how to create your best life. Now, speaking of this material, please take a second to press the subscribe button on the lower right-hand side of your screen if you like what you see. To do so is free, and you will be one of the first to get my weekly offering. It also gives me motivation to keep doing the work to keep this program going because I know it makes a difference for my followers. Thank you for your consideration. Now, as we get older, our ideas about ourselves in relationship to the world begin to change. You know you've gathered enough knowledge to know that nothing in life is permanent and that the best and worst moments never last. You've probably even begun to ask yourself about the meaning of your life, your purpose. You probably even ponder about death from time to time, God or a higher power and how they're related to you. Now, a big part of this conundrum that faces each one of us is coming to grips with these questions so that we can make better choices about aging fearlessly and building the life we truly want. Now, I got to tell you, I did not go easily down the path of accepting that a higher power was in charge. I just had too many doubts. For example, if this higher power is in charge, then why is there so much evil in the world? If this higher power is all just, loving, and merciful, how does this creative force actually justify all evil? Is experiencing this evil something that's good for us for the betterment of the species? Although I don't yet have an answer to those questions or explain how the higher power sees evil, this much I'm certain of. All the evil I know emerges from actions chosen by humans, and apparently we can choose to do evil because this higher power created us with the free will to choose our direction. But in my way of thinking, evil under any scenario cannot be justified. There's no defense for things like genocide, slavery, or the Holocaust. To think a higher power allows this evil to go on is incongruent with the loving, creative, and growing spirit I was taught to believe as a child. Now, many religions believe that everything has a purpose and that nothing happens by accident. But I struggle with this theory as well. For example, I could never tell someone who lost a child in a mass shooting that their loss had a purpose someone had mapped out in destiny. Or on a much larger scale, I think telling Jewish people the Holocaust happened for the good of humanity or that slavery was meant to help humans evolve is just as absurd and even heartless. There's no way to explain why the people who carried out these evil acts chose this darkness. But based on my life experiences, I learned the following. No matter the evil that came my way, I had the ability inside me to transform it into something good. Where this ability came from is a mystery. No one taught it to me, yet because I know I have it, I've begun to believe that this is my connection with a power much greater than I am. Now, I certainly don't believe that someone has predetermined what happens in our lives, but I can see how no matter what humans do to one another, their actions can stir in us the ability to use the event to awaken a higher part of ourselves to help create a greater good. However, just because all events in our lives can create wonderful outcome, this does not mean that it justifies evil. No, it doesn't. Now, it has taken me to reach my 70s to learn to be grateful for my life just as it is. I'm thankful for all the experiences and people who've crossed my path because I can see how they helped to shape the person I've become. This doesn't mean I like or endorse those experiences, but I can appreciate the power and influence they had in my transformation. I also believe that it is entirely possible that those who did hurtful things to me did not intend to do so. Someone may have damaged them enough in their upbringing to really warp their view of life and even of people. My parents' behavior offers a good example. My mother and father abused my brothers and I both physically and emotionally. But I believe that from their perspective, they thought they were doing it for our good. That kind of discipline was good for kids, they thought. Now, understanding my parents were flawed was a gift to me from a higher power. This understanding helped me forgive their abusive behavior and move on with my life without hating them. I also believe this ability to forgive was also given to me by this higher power. You know, the one I mentioned earlier. But this does not mean that I endorse or justify what my parents did. I have grown by being able to put these things behind me. I've also learned that a better path to take is just not to be like them. So let me conclude with this. Because of human actions, evil will always be part of our world. But this does not mean that whoever is in charge of all things justifies it. This higher power will not stop it either. But if you want it, you will be given the ability to transform evil into something good. This truth is best summarized by one of my favorite Spanish aphorisms that goes like this: No hay mal que por bien no venga, which translates to, even out of the worst of things, good things can emerge. My life is living proof of this. I invite you to reflect and look for the same signs in yours. See you soon.